The distant planet's surface shimmered with heat and dust, a barren landscape that seemed to swallow hope. Sergeant Jaewon Park moved carefully, his boots leaving faint tracks in the rust-colored ground. Military reconnaissance was always tense, but today felt different. The silence was heavy, almost suffocating. His team had scattered hours ago, each soldier covering a different section of the abandoned settlement. Tall structures of alien metal stood like broken skeletons around him, remnants of a civilization that had fought and lost everything. The war had been brutal, leaving nothing but echoes of destruction. A soft sound caught his attention, not the usual wind or distant machinery, but something more vulnerable, something alive. Jaewon paused, his combat sensors scanning the immediate area. Nothing registered on the standard readouts. But he had learned long ago to trust his instincts more than technology. Slowly, he moved towards a collapsed wall where shadows seemed deeper and more complex. There, beneath a piece of twisted metal, something moved. At first, he thought it was an animal, but as he carefully pushed away the debris, he discovered something unexpected. A child, not human, not like anything he had seen before. The alien child was small, fragile-looking, with skin that seemed to shimmer between pale blue and silver. Large eyes, too large for the tiny face, stared back at him with a mixture of terror and desperation. Thin limbs were curled protectively, and multiple small cuts and bruises covered its body. Around them, the settlement remained silent. No rescue teams. No other survivors. Just this single abandoned life. Jaewon knew the protocols. Alien children from defeated civilizations were not to be engaged. Political complications, potential biological risks, diplomatic nightmares. The reasons were numerous and clear. His commanding officers would say leave it. His training demanded non-intervention, but something in those eyes spoke to him. He remembered his own childhood, growing up in a refugee settlement after the global conflicts. The feeling of being alone, unwanted, waiting for someone, anyone, to care. Those memories burned brighter than any military regulation. "Hey," he whispered, keeping his voice low and calm. "It's okay." The child didn't move, didn't speak, just watched with an intensity that seemed impossible for something so small. Jaewon realized the child was severely malnourished, dehydrated, probably days without proper nutrition or care. The wounds suggested multiple escape attempts, each more desperate than the last. He opened his standard-issue medical kit. Carefully, he prepared a nutrient solution designed for emergency field use. It wasn't perfect, but it would keep the child alive until proper medical support could be arranged. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said, slowly approaching. The child's body trembled. Not from fear, he realized, from pure exhaustion. As he got closer, he noticed something unique. Faint markings on the child's skin, almost like genetic identifiers. They were unlike any xenobiological pattern he had ever seen in his years of service. Who was this child? What civilization did they belong to? The questions swirled in his mind, but his training kicked in. Survival first, questions later. With practiced movements, he wrapped the child in a thermal blanket from his gear. The material would regulate body temperature and provide initial protection. Carefully, he lifted the small body. For a moment, their eyes met. Something passed between them. A connection deeper than words. Deeper than species. In that moment, Jaewon made a decision that would change everything. He would not leave this child behind. Not today. Not ever. The surrounding landscape remained unchanged. Broken structures, dust, silence. But something had shifted. A single act of unexpected compassion was about to challenge everything the galaxy believed about humanity. And neither Jaewon nor the child knew how much their story was just beginning. His communication device crackled. His team was regrouping, waiting for his report. Waiting to hear about another standard, uneventful reconnaissance mission, but this mission was anything but standard. Holding the child close, Jaewon began his long journey back, knowing that everything was about to change. The journey became a test of survival. Jaewon knew the risks were enormous. Military tracking systems would soon detect his unauthorized transport of an alien child. Every step, every breath, carried potential discovery. Night fell quickly on this alien world. Harsh winds swept across rocky terrain, carrying particles that could damage both human and alien respiratory systems. The child, whom Jaewon had begun calling HFY, remained silent. Those large eyes watched everything with an intelligence that seemed too advanced for such a small being. His emergency survival pack contained limited resources: 3 standard nutrient packs, 1 medical kit, and enough water purification tablets for 3 days. They would need more. Much more. Jaewon's military training kicked in. He understood terrain, understood survival, but protecting an alien child was something entirely different. Each movement had to be calculated. Each decision could mean life or death. The child's body temperature fluctuated unpredictably, sometimes burning hot, sometimes impossibly cold. Jaewon used his thermal blanket, adjusting constantly. He recognized these were signs of severe physical trauma and potential genetic instability. Communication was impossible. HFY made no sounds, communicated through nothing more than intense eye contact. But those eyes held something remarkable, a deep understanding that seemed to transcend typical communication barriers. During their second night, danger approached unexpectedly. Distant scanner signals suggested pursuit, not just military, something else, something that felt more aggressive. Jaewon selected a narrow mountain pass. Rocky terrain would mask their heat signatures. Small caves offered potential temporary shelter. He moved with precision, each step carefully placed, the child securely wrapped against his chest. Survival became a dance of strategy and instinct. HFY's body began showing strange adaptations. Skin color shifted subtly, matching surrounding rocky terrain. A camouflage response, advanced biological mechanism. Jaewon couldn't be certain. Food became a critical challenge. The nutrient packs would last only so long. He discovered HFY could consume a strange mixture of local plant extracts and minimal protein supplements. Careful testing revealed the child's metabolism was remarkably adaptive. On the 4th day, pursuit became real. Distant mechanical sounds, scanning frequencies. The child seemed to sense danger before technological systems could detect anything. Jaewon's military training transformed into pure survival instinct. He understood protection meant more than physical safety. It meant creating a shield of hope, of possibility. They traversed difficult terrain. Rocky mountains gave way to deep valleys. Alien landscapes stretched endlessly, promising both danger and potential sanctuary. Each hour increased their distance from potential captors. The child's resilience amazed him. No complaints, no unnecessary movements. Just a quiet, intense presence that seemed to understand the gravity of their situation. During moments of rest, Jaewon would study HFY carefully. Multiple small scars suggested previous traumatic experiences. The child's body told a story of survival long before their unexpected meeting. Water became their most precious resource. Jaewon's advanced filtration systems helped, but supplies remained limited. He rationed carefully, understanding that survival depended on smart resource management. Communication remained minimal, but connection? That grew stronger with each passing hour. As nights passed, Jaewon realized something fundamental had changed. This was no longer a military mission. This was something more personal, more profound. Protection had transformed into something deeper. A promise. A commitment that went beyond military protocols or species boundaries. Distant scanner signals continued. Pursuit remained constant. But Jaewon's determination burned brighter than any technological threat. They would survive. Together. The alien landscape continued its silent witness. Rocky mountains, distant horizons, and 2 unlikely travelers, a human soldier and an alien child, moving forward with nothing more than hope and an unbreakable will to survive. Their journey was just beginning. The news spread like wildfire across multiple communication networks. A human soldier had violated every known diplomatic protocol by saving an alien child from a supposedly extinct civilization. Political chambers erupted in heated debates. Screens flickered with J1's image, sometimes a hero, sometimes a traitor. Diplomatic channels became a storm of accusations and counter-accusations. The Interstellar Council convened emergency sessions. Representatives from dozens of alien civilizations demanded explanations that no one could truly provide. J1 became a ghost, a wanted man moving through hidden networks, protecting the child who had become more than just a mission. HFY remained his silent companion, adapting to each new environment with an almost supernatural ability to remain undetected. Military tribunals prepared their case. Charges were extensive: unauthorized extraction of alien life, breach of first contact protocols, potential biological contamination. Each accusation carried potential decades of imprisonment, but J1 understood something the tribunals did not. HFY was more than a political problem, more than a potential biological threat. This was about survival, about hope. Underground networks began to take notice. Some human rights groups saw J1 as a symbol of compassion. Others viewed him as a dangerous maverick who could destabilize delicate interstellar relationships. The child's origin became a mystery that consumed entire research departments. Genetic analysts worked overtime, trying to understand the unique biological markers that made HFY different. Each analysis raised more questions than answers. Military tracking systems became a constant threat. J1 used every trick learned during years of covert operations. False trails, blocked communication signals, carefully planned movement through least expected routes. Alien civilizations took sides. Some demanded immediate capture. Others saw the potential for understanding a nearly extinct species. Political lines became blurred. Diplomatic relationships stretched to breaking points. HFY showed no fear. Those large eyes continued to observe, to understand. Sometimes J1 caught glimpses of an intelligence that seemed far beyond typical childhood comprehension. Their hiding places changed constantly: abandoned space stations, remote colony outposts, small settlements where questions were few and survival was the only currency that mattered. Communication intercepts revealed the true depth of the situation. This was no longer about a single soldier and a child. This had become a potential catalyst for interstellar conflict. J1's previous military connections proved both a blessing and a curse. Some old colleagues secretly provided information. Others actively hunted him. The line between friend and enemy became impossibly thin. The child's body continued to show remarkable adaptations: skin that could change color, metabolic systems that could process multiple types of nutrition. Each discovery added another layer to the growing mystery. Weeks turned into months. The diplomatic storm showed no signs of settling. HFY grew stronger. J1 became more determined. Their bond transcended typical understanding of protection and survival. Research teams continued their analysis. Classified reports circulated through encrypted channels. The child represented something unprecedented, a potential key to understanding biological adaptation at a level never before witnessed. Political cartoons began to appear. Some portrayed J1 as a heroic figure. Others depicted him as a dangerous rogue element threatening interstellar peace. The narrative changed daily, hour by hour. Refugee support groups started underground movements. Debates raged about the rights of abandoned alien children. J1 became an unexpected symbol of a larger conversation about compassion and survival. The child remained their greatest mystery: silent, observant, adapting. As diplomatic tensions reached their peak, one thing became clear. This was no longer just about J1 and HFY. This had become a moment that could potentially redefine understanding between different species. The storm continued. Political chambers buzzed. Communication networks hummed with speculation and fear. And somewhere, hidden from view, A human soldier and an alien child continued their journey. Survival was their only true protocol. Their story was far from over. The hidden research station sat quietly on a forgotten moon, far from standard navigation routes. J1 had chosen this place carefully, an abandoned scientific outpost with minimal electronic signatures. Here, away from prying eyes, Hiram's true nature began to reveal itself. At first, the changes were subtle, small adaptations that seemed almost impossible. When temperatures dropped, the child's skin would develop microscopic protective layers. During moments of potential danger, Hiram could alter body temperature to match surrounding environments perfectly. J1 documented everything carefully. His military training mixed with growing paternal instinct created a unique approach to observation. Each discovery felt like solving an impossible puzzle. One morning, everything changed. Hiram touched a damaged communication console. Instead of remaining broken, the device slowly began to repair itself. Microscopic reconstructive processes activated, circuits realigning, damaged components healing like living tissue. "How did you do that?" J1 whispered. The child simply looked up, those large eyes holding an intelligence that seemed to understand, far more than words could express. Medical scans revealed extraordinary genetic structures, adaptive DNA that could reconstruct itself, cellular systems that could learn and modify instantly. Hiram wasn't just surviving. The child was evolving in real time. Survival had become something more than physical protection. This was about understanding a potentially revolutionary biological system. Old research logs from the abandoned station provided partial context. References to a civilization that could adapt instantaneously, a species designed for survival under extreme conditions. But most records were fragmented, incomplete. Hiram showed no typical childhood behaviors. No play, no random movements. Every action seemed calculated, purposeful. Learning happened at exponential rates. Languages, technical systems, survival, strategies all absorbed with remarkable speed. During quiet moments, J1 would catch the child studying him, not with fear, not with dependency, but with a calculated understanding that felt almost scientific. The genetic potential was extraordinary. Cellular regeneration beyond current medical understanding. Adaptive intelligence that could potentially solve complex problems instantly. A biological system that could potentially survive in almost any environment. Some recovered research suggested this species was created as an ultimate survival mechanism, not just a civilization, but a living biological solution to extreme environmental challenges. Hiram could communicate without speaking. Complex ideas transferred through subtle biological signals. J1 began understanding these communications, not through traditional language, but through an intuitive connection that defied standard explanation. Nutritional requirements were equally fascinating. The child could extract energy from minimal resources. Environments that would kill most biological systems became potential sources of sustenance. As months passed, J1 realized he was protecting something far more significant than a simple child. This was potentially a key to understanding biological adaptation at its most fundamental level. The research station became their sanctuary, a place of discovery, of transformation. Hiram's capabilities continued expanding. Technical systems responded to touch. Damaged equipment repaired themselves. Complex mathematical calculations happened instantaneously, without any visible computational process. J1's military background mixed with growing scientific curiosity. Each discovery felt like unveiling a new layer of universal potential. This wasn't just about protecting a child. This was about understanding a potentially revolutionary form of life. The child's origin remained a mystery, but its potential seemed limitless. As solar cycles passed, their connection grew stronger. Not just protector and protected, but something more profound. A partnership of survival, of potential. Distant political storms continued. Diplomatic channels remained heated. But here, in this quiet research station, something extraordinary was happening. A new form of life was discovering itself, guided by an unlikely protector, learning, adapting, evolving. Their journey was far from over, but something remarkable had begun. The independent colony world looked like nothing special. From orbit, rocky terrain, minimal vegetation, scattered settlement structures that seemed more functional than welcoming. But for J1 and HFY, it represented something more, a chance at freedom. Colony administrators were cautious initially. A human soldier arriving with an unknown alien child triggered immediate security protocols. But HFY's remarkable abilities quickly changed their perspective. During initial screening, the child demonstrated capabilities that transformed potential suspicion into profound curiosity. Technical systems responded to HFY's touch. Damaged agricultural equipment repaired itself. Complex environmental challenges seemed to resolve almost instantly. J1 watched carefully. Their journey had been long, filled with danger. Constant movement. Endless hiding. Now, something different was emerging. The colony needed solutions. Harsh environmental conditions made survival challenging. Traditional terraforming methods had failed repeatedly. HFY represented a potential breakthrough. Colony leadership recognized this quickly, not as a weapon, not as a political asset, but as a potential partner in survival. Specialized research facilities were established, careful, respectful, understanding that HFY was more than a subject of study, a living being with remarkable potential. J1's role transformed. No longer just a protector, now a bridge between human understanding and something entirely new. His military background provided unique insights into adaptation and survival. HFY continued evolving, learning, growing. The child's biological systems seemed to understand colony challenges at fundamental levels. Agricultural systems improved. Water reclamation processes became more efficient. Environmental challenges started resolving. The story spread quietly, not through official channels, but through subtle communications. A human soldier, an alien child, a colony finding hope. Other settlements took notice, not with fear, but with genuine curiosity. What could be learned? What potential existed? Genetic researchers worked carefully, respectfully, understanding they were witnessing something unprecedented, not just studying, but potentially understanding a new form of intelligent adaptation. J1 watched HFY integrate into colony life, not as an outsider, but as a fundamental part of community survival. The child's abilities became a source of hope, of potential transformation. Colony children showed no fear, no separation. They understood HFY represented something different, something important. Years passed. The colony transformed. Environmental challenges became opportunities. Survival was no longer about fighting harsh conditions, but understanding them, adapting, growing. HFY's origin remained a mystery, but its potential became clear. A living solution, a bridge between biological understanding and survival. J1 found peace, not through military achievements, but through something more profound: protection, understanding, growth. Their story became a quiet legend, whispered, shared, understood by those who recognized true potential. A human soldier, an alien child, a colony finding its future. The horizon continued expanding, filled with possibility, with hope. Their journey was just beginning. Distant political storms continued. Diplomatic channels remained complex. But here, in this quiet colony world, something remarkable had taken root. A new understanding of survival, of potential, of connection. J1 looked at HFY. Those remarkable eyes continued watching, learning, understanding, not a weapon, not a political asset, a partner, a hope, a future. The colony continued growing, transforming, adapting, and at its heart, a simple truth remained. Survival is about understanding, about connection, about seeing potential where others see only challenge. Their story was far from over.